Welcome back to Phantom Feeds, the home of hypercar legends and stories that money alone can't buy. Today we're talking about something so rare, so luxurious, and so deeply connected to Ferrari's DNA that calling it a car almost feels unfair. This is the Ferrari Daytona SP3, a machine that blends the past with the future and wraps it all in the kind of exclusivity that makes billionaires raise their hands and beg Ferrari for permission to spend their millions. Now, before we even dive into this, let me ask you a question. If you had $2.25 million or dollars sitting in your bank account right now, would you buy a house? Or would you buy a Ferrari Daytona SP3? Because yes, that's the starting price. And here's the kicker. Even if you had the money, Ferrari might not even sell one to you. That's the level of exclusivity we're dealing with here. The Daytona SP3 was born as part of Ferrari's Icona series, which means it's a limited edition masterpiece designed for Ferrari's most loyal collectors. Only 599 were made, and all of them were spoken for almost instantly. Imagine that. You can have all the money in the world, but unless you've been on Ferrari's good side for years, buying their cars, proving your loyalty, you don't even make the waiting list. That's not just a car purchase, that's an initiation into a secret society. Now let's pause here. If you're watching this, picture this moment. You walk into your garage, and instead of seeing a Lamborghini Aventador or a Bugatti, you see a Daytona SP3. The design alone makes your jaw drop. The rear looks like something out of science fiction, but the story behind it is all about heritage. It's inspired by the legendary Ferrari Daytona P4 that destroyed the competition back in 1967 at Daytona. So when you look at this hypercar, you're not just looking at a Ferrari, you're looking at a time machine, one that connects you to Ferrari's racing glory. That's a luxury no price tag can truly measure. Speaking of price tags though, here's the fun part. When Ferrari released this car, the price was around $2.25 million, but on the resale market, it has already been seen climbing past $3 million, sometimes $3.5 million depending on demand. That means some of the lucky owners are sitting on an appreciating asset. Driving it is like driving a bank vault on wheels. That's where the entertainment comes in. Because people online love to argue, should you drive it and enjoy it? Or should you lock it away like fine art? Drop your answer in the comments because I want to know what you would do if you had this kind of machine. And let's not forget performance. This isn't some garage queen with no bite. Underneath that bodywork is Ferrari's most powerful non-hybrid V12 ever. A 6.5-liter naturally aspirated monster with 829 horsepower, screaming all the way to 9,500. Premium, that sound is luxury in itself. Raw, mechanical, emotional. Every time the driver hits the throttle, it's not just acceleration, it's a symphony. And in an era where everything is turning electric, that soundtrack alone makes the Daytona SP3 a priceless piece of history. Now, here's something that keeps people hooked on cars like this: the ownership game. Ferrari doesn't just sell you a Daytona SP3, they make you earn it. Collectors talk about it like a badge of honor. If you see one in real life, you're not just seeing a car, you're seeing the shadow of decades of loyalty between Ferrari and its most devoted clients. That exclusivity is more powerful than any horsepower figure. It's what makes the Daytona SP3 not just a hypercar, but a lifestyle. Imagine pulling up at a private event or even a simple coffee run in this car. Cameras come out, jaws drop, and suddenly you are the event. That's the kind of power the Daytona SP3 commands, and that's why people are willing to pay millions over sticker price. Because this car is more than metal and rubber, it's social currency. And let me entertain you with this thought. People debate all the time whether cars like this are worth the money. But think about it. A Daytona SP3 will almost certainly rise in value. If you had bought one at launch for $2.25 million and sold it today, you'd already be up potentially $1 million or more. That's not just luxury, that's luxury that pays you back. It's the equivalent of wearing a watch that appreciates in value every time you glance at it. How many luxury items can say the same? Still, the luxury isn't only financial, it's emotional. The Daytona SP3 is one of the last naturally aspirated V12 masterpieces Ferrari will ever build. That engine note is going extinct and this car preserves it. Imagine 20 years from now when everything is electric and silent. Someone fires up a Daytona SP3 and suddenly the crowd turns around because they're hearing something that no one builds anymore. That's history. That's emotion. That's luxury. And here's where I keep you locked in. Let's play a little mental game. Picture your dream garage. Maybe you've got a Bugatti Chiron, maybe a Koenigsegg Jesko, maybe even a Pagani Utopia. Now put the Ferrari Daytona SP3 right next to them. Which one do you think guests would point to first? Which one would they want to hear start up? Which one would they want a picture with? The answer is simple. It's the Ferrari. Because Ferrari is not just a brand, it's a legend. And legends are timeless. So the luxury side of the Ferrari Daytona SP3 is layered. It's in the price tag that only a select few can afford. It's in the exclusivity that money alone can't buy. It's in the design that makes strangers stop and stare. It's in the sound of that V12, echoing like a piece of art. And it's in the fact that it will likely be worth more tomorrow than it is today. Luxury isn't just about what you own. It's about what that ownership means. And the Daytona SP3 means you've arrived at the very top of the automotive world. So let me leave you with this. The Daytona SP3 is not just Ferrari's homage to the past. It is Ferrari's promise that even in a changing world, true luxury will always find a way to endure. And that is what makes it priceless. Thank you for watching Phantom Feeds. If you enjoyed this dive into the rare world of the Ferrari Daytona SP3, do me a favor, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay with us for more journeys into the luxury side of hypercars and beyond. Because trust me, the stories only get more exciting from here.